how much pressure here is now on Embiid that he won't have Simmons the rest of the way?
I think immense pressure. Immense pressure. It's not about them winning the Eastern Conference or anything like that. It's about showing up and reminding the world that you're one of the greatest players on the planet and arguably the best big man in basketball this side of Giannis Antetokounmpo. You got to be like a man. You got to play like a man amongst boys. That's what you got to do if you're Joel Embiid. That was a freak injury that took place. That could happen to anybody. We understand that. But assuming that he's healthy enough to perform without Ben Simmons on the court with him, you're the lone resident star on this team. Tobias Harris can ball, Shake Milton can ball, Josh Richardson can ball. We get all of that. We understand Al Horford's a veteran. We understand that. But this team is Embiid's team, especially now more than ever that Ben Simmons is not there. You got to show up and go out and go down swinging. It's not about y'all winning, because y'all ain't going to win. You shouldn't have let go. You shouldn't have let Jimmy Butler get away to Miami. You shouldn't have moved J.J. Redick to New Orleans. But you did that, and as a result, you ain't coming out of the East. But what you can do is get your big behind in the post, drop step in the paint, demand the damn basketball, and go there like a man and take cats out. You should be averaging 30, at minimum 30, and about 15 rebounds a game. You should be Shaq-like, dare I say. I'm talking about being a man. I'm talking about reminding everybody that, excuse me, you just ain't another one of the guys. I'm 7'1". I'm 260. I got great footwork. I got a touch from the perimeter. I do know how to play with my back to the basket when I'm committed to it. I can hit free throws. I'm a man amongst boys. Give me the damn ball. That's what I'm saying Joel Embiid has to do. It ain't about winning. I don't think you beat Boston, Toronto, or Milwaukee, or even Miami, and probably not Indiana. But what you got to do is let everybody know it wasn't because of him. It wasn't his fault. It's the rest of those dudes around him, or it's the coach. It ain't Joel Embiid. That's the pressure he's on.
We're not going to learn anything new about Embiid that way, Stephen A. Embiid has always had health issues, really, that I think have forced him to self-load manage because they don't seem to have a plan for him. So he didn't play as well on the road. The team didn't function as well on the road. But we've seen what he's capable of at his best. He's an absolute monster. Like, what can't he do? And so, more of the same from Embiid. Probably he won't put up Shaq numbers, because who put up Shaq numbers but Shaq? But he'll put up Embiid numbers, which are, as you mentioned, better than any bigs except for the Freak, or AD if you consider AD a big. He is a rim protecting 4 at the very least. No, that's not the issue. It's not like Embiid now has more pressure to do anything. Stephen A., they may not have had enough shooting to win the championship anyway, or even get out of the East. Recently, it didn't look like it. But because of Embiid and Simmons together, each whose talents are pitched just about at MVP level. Like, they haven't produced MVP seasons, but that's where their talents are. And Ben Simmons was having an all-world defensive season, probably the defensive player of the year. And with the emergence of Shake Milton, now could play the 4, which also allowed Embiid and Horford not to have to share the floor, because apparently they can't coexist on the floor together. Like, that doesn't work for some reason. Horford can't play the 4, who knew? But the point is, now that Simmons isn't there, they don't have a chance. Whatever you say, well, they probably weren't going to win the East anyway, we would all acknowledge you can't sleep on them. Like, you can't just discount them because of Simmons and Embiid. Without Simmons, you can discount them. The expectations are not that they maybe not even advance in the Eastern Conference, right? Certainly not that they're going to contend for the Eastern, even to make the Eastern Conference Finals without Ben Simmons. So does that elevate the pressure, or does that release pressure? It releases pressure, Stephen A. Whatever flaws you think are on the team, in the post-mortem, if they don't make it and Simmons is healthy, invariably there will be criticism of Embiid. His game will be picked apart, and people will find where it's not perfect and blame him. Now, he's playing with house money. Anything good that happens will accrue to him. And anything bad that happens, the season was lost anyway.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong for one profound reason that even you can't argue, although you'll try, just for television purposes, and that is this. His motor we've questioned that in the past. You too. Even though there have been times, obviously, injury have played the role, there have been other times where he just doesn't have that motor. When we think about the Greek Freak and what he brings in, we've seen him drop over 30 on the Greek Freak in the Milwaukee Bucks. We've seen him talk smack to others and then go and give it to them. There are times when it's about injuries, and there are other times where it's simply about motivation or lack thereof. And he's got to step up and make sure that that is not an issue that is ever broached in this bubble because Ben Simmons is gone. He has to want it. And I remember, and one of the things that I want to emphasize is we understand that basketball is a team sport, Max. We understand that, and we understand that results matter. But there's also individual things that transpire. Damian Lillard just showed that the other day. He misses the 2 free throws. Patrick Beverley's mocking him. Paul George is mocking him. Dame responds the way that he did. And he said, what did he say? Now, he's not an I kind of guy. He's a team player. This is a compliment. But he said, I sent that dude home years ago. I sent you home last year. That's what he said, because at some point with basketball, it does come down to you. And it's separate and apart from the other issues.
In the words of my man Roy Jones Jr., y'all must have forgot. Like, it does come down to who wins for Embiid, and now that Simmons is there, he's not expecting to win because you brought up the Freak. For every monster game that the Freak has had on Embiid and the Sixers, Embiid has had that same monster game against the Bucks. The difference is the Bucks are perceived this season to be Eastern Conference finalists at least, and the Sixers were perceived to have a shot, meaning the pressure's on Embiid. And now that Simmons is not there, they are not perceived to have a shot. Embiid will have his monster games, including against the Bucks. He always.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.